Hi everyone, thanks for watching this video. I'm Zhuangyan from Peking University, and I will introduce our new work, IDA with Background Knowledge. This is a joint work with Yangbo. A fundamental problem in causal inference is how to estimate causal effects from observational data. When the causal DAG is known, we have the backdoor adjustment. However, when the DAG is unknown, the causal effect may not be identifiable, since the underlying DAG may not be uniquely recovered from data. In this case, we may use the IDA framework to estimate all possible causal effects. So what is IDA? IDA means interventional do calculus when the DAG is absent. Since generally, we can learn a Markov equivalence class from data, IDA is a framework for estimating all possible causal effects in a Markov equivalence class. It first enumerates all possible parental sets and then adjusts for each of them. So the main problem is, how do we know whether a set of variables can be the parents of the treatment in some Markov equivalent DAG? In the work of IDA, the authors proved a locally valid orientation rule for CPDAG. It says that a subset of the undirected neighbors of the treatment can be a part of the parents if and only if letting them point at the treatment does not create a new structure. Apart from observational data, in real applications, it is also very common to have some background knowledge. The natural question is, can we use such information in causal inference? Therefore, the goal of this work is to generalize IDA to deal with background knowledge. In particular, we consider direct causal information and non-ancestral information. We first introduce some basic concepts. A set of claims is consistent with a given CPDAG if there is a DAG in the Markov equivalence class satisfying all those claims. A set of consistent direct causal claims can be represented by a maximal PDAG, representing all equivalent DAGs satisfying those claims. The procedure of constructing a maximal PDAG is given by Meek. Basically, we treat direct causal claims as directed ages. We first add them to the learned CPDAG, and then use mixed criteria to orient as many ages as possible. Finally, we have a maximal PDAG. Our first result is about locally valid orientation rules for maximal PDAGs. It tells which subset of the treatment's neighbors can be a possible parental set in a maximal PDAG. We use an example to explain this result. The figure on the left is a maximal PDAG, and A, B, C are undirected neighbors of X. So there are 8 candidate parental sets of X. To check, for example, whether C can be the parent, we orient C to X and X to the remaining variables A, B. If the configuration has a directed triangle containing X, or a new V structure collided on X, then it's not valid. Otherwise, the candidate parental set is valid. Now we can extend IDA to deal with direct causal information. We call this algorithm DIDA. The procedure is simple. We enumerate all subsets of X's undirected neighbors and applying theorem 1 to check the validity of them. Then we adjust all those valid parental sets. Next, we discuss how to interpret non-ancestral information. Some additional definitions are needed. The first one is equivalent background knowledge. Given a CPDAG and 2 background knowledge set B1 and B2, B1 and B2 are equivalent if they put the same constraints on the equivalence class. For example, if C and X are adjacent, then C is a directed cause of X is equivalent to X is not an ancestor of C. Another important concept is critical set. The critical set of X with respect to Y in a CPDAG consists of all adjacent vertices of X lying on at least one cordless partially directed path from X to Y. For example, in the CPDAG showing figure A, the critical set of A with respect to Y consists of B and C. On the other hand, X is not in the critical set, since A, X, C, Y has a chord AC. An important result is that if A is not an ancestor of Y, then the vertices in the critical set of A with respect to Y, which are B and C, should be the direct causes of A. This is what lemma 2 shows. Since lemma 2 shows the equivalence between a non-ancestral claim and a set of direct causal claims, Given a set of non-ancestral claims, we can transform it into a set of direct causal claims. This is shown in algorithm 2. This means we can interpret non-ancestral claims by maximal PDAGs. Thus, combine algorithm 2 with algorithm 1. We have NIDA, which extends IDA to deal with non-ancestral information. Finally, let's see some simulation results. We use 100 nodes ER random DAGs with different expected neighborhood size and percentage of background knowledge to test our methods. The compared methods include IDA and the semi-local IDA. The semi-local IDA is also a generalization of IDA to maximal PDAGs, which is similar to our NIDA. However, it runs mixed criteria instead of using some local rules to check the validity of a possible parental set. These figures show the CPU time. The red lines correspond to our methods. Our methods are stable and efficient when changing the neighborhood size. The semi-local IDA is a bit slower when the percentage of background knowledge is small, but its time converges to ours when the percentage grows. Besides, the time distribution of the semi-local IDA is multimodal, which is different from other methods. Next, we study how the number of possible effects changes when we provide more background knowledge. Clearly, adding background knowledge reduces the number of possible effects, meaning that the uncertainty is decreased. Moreover, adding non-ancestral information is more useful since the red lines in figure B drops more quickly. There are two related papers. The first one is a semi-local IDA. One advantage of the semi-local IDA is that it can also handle joint interventions. The other one is about representing causal background knowledge. The authors gave an enumeration-based method to find the invariant ages. The advantage of this work is that it can deal with ancestral and non-ancestral information, as well as hidden variables and inconsistent background knowledge. So there are some interesting topics, including taking account hidden variables and selection biases, inconsistent background knowledge, and other forms of background knowledge, such as ancestral information. We will explore them in future. Thank you.